There are spirits that scream. There are spirits that cry. And then, there are spirits that walk. If you ever hear footsteps in an empty corridor, measured, patient, and deliberate, as if someone is counting the floor with their soul, koi, 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 do not assume you are alone. Because this is not the story of a ghost. This is the story of how a woman became a warning. Before boarding schools, before bells and dormitories, before cement replaced soil, there was a village called Amuocha, a place so old that even the forest had grown tired of watching it. Amuocha was built on borrowed land. The elders knew this. They poured libation every new moon, apologizing to the spirits beneath the ground. But apologies do not last forever. On a night when the wind refused to sleep, a child was born. Her name was Koimadi. She did not cry. She opened her eyes, and the midwife stepped back. Because newborns look at faces, Koimadi looked past them. As Koimadi grew, strange things followed her. When she walked, dust lifted too early. When she stopped, echoes continued. Her feet were always cold. Her shadow was always late. Children refused to play with her after sunset, because they swore they heard footsteps even when she stood still. Her mother tied protective threads. Her father consulted priests. Nothing changed. One elder finally said what others feared. This child does not walk alone. The year Koimadi turned 16, a trader arrived from the coast. He did not announce himself. He did not greet the elders. He simply placed his mat in the village square and unfolded his goods. Mirrors that reflected wrong, combs that pulled more than hair, perfumes that smelled like forgotten dreams. Then, he revealed the shoes. Red, leather, foreign. They did not shine. They waited. The trader spoke only once. These shoes do not belong to the buyer. They belong to the walker. That night, Koimadi dreamed. A woman without feet stood before her, dragging herself across blood-red soil. The woman said only one thing. Finish the walk. I could not. By morning, the shoes were at Koimadi's door. Koimadi wore the shoes. They fit perfectly, too perfectly. She tried to remove them. They did not move. From that night on, she began to walk. Not during the day, not while people watched. She walked when the village slept. Around huts, past shrines, into the forest. Always the same sound. Koi, koi, koi. Animals fled. Babies woke screaming. Drums cracked without being touched. The earth had recognized her. The elders called the most feared diviner from across the river. He arrived shaking. He threw cowries. They scattered themselves. He poured wine. The ground refused it. Then he screamed. This girl is wearing a debt. The shoes belonged to a woman who was buried walking. A woman betrayed by her own people. He turned to Koimadi. If you stop walking, she will walk alone again. If you continue, she will finish the journey through you. The village chose fear. They accused Koimadi of witchcraft, of bringing sickness, of inviting spirits. The man who loved her led them. They dragged her to the forest edge. They cut her feet. They beat her legs. The shoes did not come off. Instead, they rang louder. The forest answered. By dawn, Koimadi lay dead, still standing. They buried her quickly. No rites, no songs, no name. And in African soil, this is the final insult. The ground does not forgive disrespect. That night, Amuocha burned. Not by fire, by silence. The village vanished from history. Years later, colonizers arrived. They cleared land. They ignored warnings. They built a boarding school. Where Amuocha once stood, on the first night, students heard footsteps. Slow, measured. Koi, koi, koi. A woman stood in the corridor. Red shoes, no face. Madame Koi Koi does not haunt schools by accident. Schools represent discipline without protection. Children away from ancestral guardians. Rules without rituals. She targets those who are alone in crowds. She walks during prep time. During night roll call. During silence. She does not chase. She waits. Some children disappear. Most are never found. But a few return. They walk differently. They sleep facing the door. They flinch at bells. And when they walk, their steps echo. If you hear footsteps behind you in an empty place, do not run. If she calls your name, do not answer. Because Madame Koi Koi is not evil. She is unfinished, and she is still walking. Koi, koi, koi. If this story followed you longer than expected, Subscribe if you attended a boarding school. Comment I heard it, and if you believe some stories walk with us. Turn off the lights carefully tonight.